What are your thoughts on Tampa's loss, and what does this mean for Colorado moving forward?
Well, I thought it was a great game between both teams. Colorado got up to an early lead in the first period, scoring 3 goals relatively quickly in the first period. I thought Colorado's pace was, I mean, it was electric from the beginning of the game, and Tampa was definitely a half a pace behind in that first period, just because Colorado, when when the Lightning were playing the Rangers, I imagine the Lightning were looking at the Rangers as a pretty fast team. And going into this series, I think you could actually increase the pace that the Colorado Avalanche have compared to what the Rangers have. It really just kind of speaks to just the speed that Colorado has from not only their top line, but their back lines as well. And I will say, to Tampa's credit, they were able to bounce back relatively quickly. They were able to get a goal in the first period to kind of get the deficit lowered a little bit. Colorado scored that third goal before the end of the period, put them up 3-1. But Tampa in the second period came alive, getting 2 goals in the span of like 45 to 50 seconds that tied the game up at 3-3. And it was relatively just back and forth after that. Both teams were getting pretty good shots back and forth, had some good opportunities. The game goes into overtime, and the Avalanche get a solid shot off of a Victor Hedman block. I forget who set up the pass for Burakovsky, but Burakovsky just nails it home. Vasilevsky just couldn't see the pass. Colorado had a nice little pick play set up in front of Vasilevsky that definitely blocked his view, but it was just a great setup from Colorado that led to that OT winner relatively quickly. I believe that OT winner was scored within the first minute and a half of that period. It was a great game. Looking at it from, let's start with the Colorado perspective. Colorado's, they have home ice here. This was a situation where had they lost game one, this would have been a bad look because they pretty much dominated the pace from beginning to end in this game. That's despite the fact that Tampa was able to put 3 goals up against them. If had they lost this game, Tampa would have definitely stole this one, and you definitely don't want to have that on home ice, knowing when you go up 3-1 and you allow the away team to really make a game of it and really make them earn it. That would have been a bad look for the Avalanche. Fortunately for them, they were able to avoid that in game one as they sit at a 1-0 series lead. Now, to kick it to Tampa, uh, Tampa looked slow at first, and it may be a fact of Tampa's playing in Denver. Denver's a mile up. The elevation is around 5,200 feet. And I think that definitely played a factor early on. Just it didn't seem like Tampa had their legs underneath them in the first period. Really, Colorado was just flying on all cylinders. But as the game progressed, you could tell that Tampa was adjusting to Colorado's speed and their overall pace. And, like I said just a couple of minutes ago, Tampa was able to tie that game relatively quickly in the second period at 3-3. And that was despite the fact that they were kind of laboring with their conditioning in that first third of the game. And then Tampa, I mean, give Vasilevsky credit, had a bad start to the game, didn't had some trouble trying to find the puck on some of Colorado's shot attempts, but was able to step up pretty solidly from basically the second to the third period on. And the OT winner that he gave up, it was a rebound off of Victor Hedman. Colorado sets up a good pass, and they nail it home. So, I mean, granted, it's not the best outing for Vasilevsky. He does give up 4 goals in the process. It's kind of very similar to what happened in game one against the Rangers, where he was giving up goals left and right. So I think this is a game where Tampa could look back on giving up 3 goals in the first period, definitely put them behind the 8 ball. But they didn't give up. They rallied. They made it a game. They forced Colorado into a situation where they kind of were on their heels a little bit, uh, kind of late in the second period. But I got to give Colorado a lot of credit. They definitely showed some solid resolve going into that OT period, and they were able to capitalize on it. So um, I don't really take a lot into account for game one. Both teams are trying to figure each other out. I think both are trying to adapt as the series goes along. So both teams are going to make adjustments. The Lightning, I think, are going to come out a little bit more confident, knowing that they were in game one. Um, just unfortunately for them, uh, they just got a bad rebound, and it set it up for a solid play for Colorado to take advantage of. As for the Avalanche, I would just continue the overall pace. Their pace has been electric from beginning to end so far, not just in this series, but their previous series. They are just a fast, electric team. They score a lot of goals. They put their opposing team on their heels. And I think as long as the Avalanche continue to pressure the Lightning and just really press them throughout most of the game, I think it's going to bode well for them moving in this series. But overall, a great start to the Stanley Cup. It's going to be very interesting to see how both teams adjust going into game two. But got to give the Avalanche credit. Definitely were on their heels after the Lightning tied it up 3-3. They found a way to get that game one on their side as we transition into the next game of the series. So this is gonna be a fun series. This is just how I see it.